Here's another way to create a dark, moody sky. This time I'm not going to be masking out the moony shape. We're just going to create that with water. So I'm using my Bockingford 300 grams per square metre paper. I've got one pot of water, slightly mucky, doesn't really matter for this. And I've got my CassArt Travel watercolour set. Love this set of paints. It's full of quarter pans, so you get a good variety of paint in a small package. And my paper's quite small, it's just a scrap, so you can see it's got a wonky edge there. I'm just using a scrap because it's just practicing a technique, so I'm not expecting a masterpiece. So we start off, I'm going to put some cobalt blue on my paper. I'm using the flat brush, quite flat. The brush that I'm using is it's an SAA silver worker in a size 6. Picking up water into my paint. I'm not sure whether you can see that very clearly. It's quite liquid in there. And I'm just going to spread that around on my paper. Okay, clean the brush. Now I'm going into French ultramarine. The reason it doesn't matter that my water is mucky is because I'm going from, I'm using all blues so the water can go blue, and I'm going from light to dark to even darker, so I'm not fussed that my water's a bit mucky. Okay, so randomly pop some French ultramarine on top, and then I'm picking up Payne's Grey, and again just randomly squiggle my Payne's Grey over the top like that. Now we wait, and what we're waiting for is, at the moment, if I just move this around, can you see how shiny that is? What I'm waiting for is it to go from a shine to a sheen. Now we looked at this when we did blurry backgrounds a couple of videos ago. I don't want to use a hairdryer because I want to catch that sheen, it's really important. So I'm just going to hang around here until it stops shining and starts being a sheen. So I don't want it dry, but I don't want it really wet. I hope you can see that. There we go, I'm just looking at your screen now. Lovely. Obviously I'm not in your room looking at your screen behind your shoulder. I'm looking at the recording of it. So it's starting to go, starting to dry. See if I turn my studio light up, you might see it a bit better. Not sure if that's better or worse for you. Right, it's starting to dry now. I'm starting to get a sheen. I'm just going to leave it a couple of seconds more. Okay, so I'm going to tilt that right the way around, and hopefully you can see now that that's not shining anymore, it's just got a light sheen to it. It's not dry, but it's not soaking wet. So what I want to do now is just pick up some water, wipe it off on the edge, do that way you can see it, so it's dripping. Just wipe it off very gently, so the brush is still loaded with water, but it's not got a great big blob on the end of it. And then I'm just going to draw across here with my water and watch what happens. So the water that I've put on there is pushing the paint away. Can you see that? I'm going to put a little bit more on top. There we go. So you can see it's starting to push that paint out of the way. If this was completely dry, it wouldn't have quite the same effect. You'd still push a little bit out, but it wouldn't work quite so well. So another line across there now. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more here. Maybe fade that out there. Okay. Now I'm going to come along with my little bit of tissue and squeeze it into a point. So you see, I've got a flat edge there, just squish it until I've got a nice flat edge on there, and I'm going to touch that to the paper just in the centre. So I don't want to take away the cauliflower edges that are going to be forming. I don't want to take those away. I'm just literally lifting little bits of white out where the moonlight is catching those clouds. Like that. Okay, that's it. We just leave that to dry.